Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Michelle Ali Marati, and I'm the marketing manager for Tightrope. And we are excited today to share with you the new features that are going to be released with Cablecast 6.3. This is a pretty exciting new release, particularly for folks using our Cablecast Flex servers. We will have Nick Brandt from support presenting on that to show you those features. Again, this is primarily for Flex servers. There are a few things that folks still using SX will be able to take advantage of. We will also go over, particularly for this RTP streaming, which we'll get into, the IP licensure that's required for that. We'll have our Steve Israelski go over that at the end. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and present a screen to you. Nick, I'm going to pass it to you.
Okay, you should be seeing the force matrix now, right?
Yes, we are seeing a single tab open with the force matrix displayed.
Awesome. Okay, welcome everybody. Today I'm just going to give a quick overview of all the features available in 6.3. We're going to start with features that are available to everybody who updates to 6.3, and then we'll be going over 2 features that are available to people with Flex series servers only. So the first feature, we'll just jump right in here. The first feature we're going to show is our new and improved force matrix. So a lot of you might remember the old force matrix had, the same type of radio buttons that you see here on the screen, but on the left-hand side you had some drop-down menus. There was a device-only button that was kind of ominous. Sometimes you push it, sometimes you don't. We've actually really improved that at this point with this action button. The action button pops up a modal that allows you to perform an action on either the input or the output. So if I want to, let's say, record on my Flex encoder, I'm going to hit the action button here and allow me to record a file name called test encode. And if I hit the take button, it will start the encoding. Okay, and as you can see here on the left-hand side, we've completely changed all of the icons that you see on your force matrix, so you know what's going on with every source and every output at any one time. So right here, this shows me that I'm recording on this system and that I've got a good compliant resolution in the system. One feature that we've added is that you can now see on the encode status in the force matrix what type of resolution is coming in. You can have 3 options here. You can have green, which means you have a matching resolution. You can have orange, which means you have a non-matching resolution. And you can have red, which means you have a non-compliant resolution. One of the great features for Flex series servers, HD servers at this point, is that the system will now up convert to the proper resolution. So if you have that orange camera icon there, the system will be up converting to your new resolution. The action buttons are per device. So if you have a different type of device, you'll notice that the actions are different. So like for instance, if I click on my Flex output one, I'm going to have my play options here rather than my record options. And you can do multiple things here. So you can either make a play action without sending it somewhere, or you can make a play action with sending it somewhere. So if I want to make a play action and send it somewhere, I'm going to click the play button. It's going to ask me what file do I want to play. I'm going to type in a file number, and then I'm going to send it to a place. Most likely my channel output, and then I'm going to hit the take button. Okay, so this replaces the sort of old way of using the force matrix, which was to select the device from the left-hand side and then use the device only button. You'll also notice that we've added a bunch of information if you click on the devices. So if you click on a device now in the force matrix, you can see where the device is passed patched to that is currently using pass-through, and we'll get to that in a moment. And then you can also see the device details. This helps you when you're talking to support, when support is asking you for a TeamViewer number, what's the host address of the device you're talking about, and so on and so forth. We've also changed the way that the force matrix looks. So we've added a mobile-friendly version of the force matrix that replaces the force small. And I can get to the mobile-friendly version of the force matrix in two ways. Number one, if I'm on a mobile, the view I'm about to show you is the view you're going to see. Number two, if you'd like to see the force small, so if you have a large number of inputs and outputs in your force matrix and you would like to use the force small, the little button down, the little menu button down here that's blue will pop you into our force small. And it gives you a list of devices and outputs. And you can take actions on all the devices and all the outputs, including override, recording, and take actions. So for instance, if I want to switch a source to my output, I can click the action button and I can send it to my Flex output 1. And I want to send that only, I don't want to take any action, but I want to only send that to my channel output. I'm going to take to that. So that's the new and improved force matrix. Again, new icons, a new way of using the force small, and the new action modal, the pop-up modal. There's also an action button at the upper left-hand corner that gives you a blank screen that allows you to fill out what you're trying to do. So if you're trying to do a recording, for instance, you're going to select the device, and then it's going to ask you what you want to do. In this case, if I want to stop the recording, I'm going to say stop recording. I'm going to take, and the recording will stop. Now we're going to move on to the next feature, which is also, if you have questions, don't forget to put those in the question box. Michelle will give me those at the end, and we'll try to answer as many questions as we can. Now we're going to get to the next feature, which is our live pass-through feature. This feature is available to Flex series servers only. So just to recap, when you go to 6.3, if you have SX series servers in your system, you'll still get the 6.3 upgraded force matrix, but live pass-through and RTP streaming or StreamSource will not be available to you. So next we're going to talk about pass-through, and I'm going to talk about basically what pass-through does. What pass-through does is it allows you to take your live streaming, your live sources, any live source off your router, pass it through your Flex encoder, and put your channel branding on it. And I'm going to show real quick what we're seeing here in the force matrix that shows you that pass-through is working, and then I'll show you how it looks on the schedule. So if I look at my force matrix, I can now see that I am sending a live show out of the Flex output 1. If I look at my schedule, it shows that I'm sending live show, which right now is just a view of NASA. But this is another Tightrope server that we're sending through to our system. This is a live source coming through my router. It's not a source that's going directly into my Flex encoder. But if I look back at the force matrix, I can see that the encoder is linked to the Flex output. That's what this linked button means. And we are passing the live source through the encoder, and it goes to the Flex output, the channel output. What that allows us to do is put on our own channel branding. And as I bring the live stream back over, you can see we've put our live bug and our crawl over our live source. So you can now put live bug, live crawl, and bug text over all sources. This requires that you have an open Flex encoder and an open Flex output. Also, as a part of this live pass-through feature, you are now, if you're using live pass-through, you are locking your channel to an output of the Flex server. A few of you have been asking us to do this for quite a long time. Well, with pass-through, it's now possible. Pass-through requires that we lock all output to a channel to a specific output on the server. That way we know which encoder to send to which output. So by using live pass-through, you're also locking your channel output to one specific server output. At this point, you might be asking, well, great. So now I can put my graphics through all of my sources. Well, how do I do that? So there's a few ways to do that. I'm going to go over all of them. The first ways I'm going to talk about are the ways that are available in the show record. Just so you know, the ways you put in graphics have not changed in this version. So the ways that you have been doing graphics for all of your recorded shows is the same way that you'll do it in the future. So for instance, if I go into my schedule and I open up my live show record, I can put my downstream key settings in the record, which is what I've done here. So in this case, we're showing that this was a pre-recorded meeting. This is a crawl for the show. While the show's live, I could put a bug text that says live now and save it. And my crawl text could say, call in now to be on the air. Save that, and it'll update. The second way that you can put in crawl and bug information is through a crawl schedule, which is done the same way that you've been doing it in all versions of 6 so far. You can create a new crawl that will append itself to any existing crawl. So those are the ways you can do this in the software. And you can also do it manually just as easily by using your StreamSource application. Again, you can update your bug text, and your crawl right here in the StreamSource app as you have been doing. Let me just show that real quick so everybody understands. So you can see here that all my channels are shown. I can edit the style of this channel. I can go in here and put a new bug in. This shows the bug text font size and font type. And then when I want to change my bug text, for instance, I can go to manual, change it to live now, push update, and the update will push directly. In the same way, I can switch my crawl to manual and do the same thing. Update, and that will push directly to the channel. Okay. Next feature that we're going to talk about is RTP streaming. So Flex Series servers can now show RTP streams directly through the Flex server. I'm not going to go through how to set that up so much as explain how it works. So you have a supported RTP encoder, and you can set up the network stream by going into your settings, location settings, input outputs, and we have a new set for network streams. Okay, you can set up different network streams here that you're going to use all the time, and all you'll need is the RTP stream URL. There are a few really important things to say about RTP streams. RTP streams are the only type of streams we're accepting at this point. We're not accepting, say, RTMP or something that requires another server to do. RTP streams can be streamed directly onto our Matrox cards, and it does require an additional license. But you can stream RTP over the internet as far as all firewalls on all sides from point to point are open for that situation. The best thing to do to find out if RTP will work for you or the application that you're looking for is to speak with your dealer, because we are supporting only a very few number of RTP encoders at this point. I'm going to bring over the RTP encoders that we're supporting at this point, and these are the ones that you'll be talking to your dealer about if you want to use RTP encoding. And if you already have some of these, congratulations, you can now take them into your Flex Series server. So we do support the Niagara Go Stream Mini 150, the Aja Hilo, the Makita High-Vision Classic, and the High-Vision Makita X. These are certified by us as working, and we do have on our website configurations that work with our servers. So these are the ones you'll want to work with when you're working with RTP streaming. So if I've set up my network stream, I can now schedule it as a show. So I'll show you that. So this NASA stream right here is an RTP stream. So I'm going to schedule it in, and you'll notice that we've included new icons on the schedule to show you what's going on. So the camera denotes a live pass-through source, and the this little playhead with the two parentheses, that's a StreamSource. So if I send autopilot on that, we'll go and we'll see that autopilot is green. Now, just so I can show how the StreamSource works, I'm going to actually delete everything that's in the schedule, and then show you from the force matrix how you can program your own and go live with your own stream. So if I send autopilot again, which I can't do because I've taken all the runs out of the system, I can actually go back into the force matrix and stop everything. So I'm going to go back to our grid view because that's the one I like the most. So I'm going to stop down our encoder. And instead I'm going to ask it to play a stream. So I'm going to show you in the force matrix how we can play a stream. Again, if I want to play a stream, I'm going to play it out of an output. So I'm going to take an action. I'm going to play a stream. I'm going to select the network stream I want to use. I'm going to hope that this network stream is working. And I'm going to switch it to my channel output. I'm going to hit take. This little icon here shows me that the stream is buffering. And in a few seconds, it will go straight to my channel output. And now we can see that the Makita High-Vision Multicast source is playing through the system, and all of our live graphics are working. It's currently buffering on my side, but I'll show you in just a second. We can also, at the very same time, start to write this same this same stream to disk. And what it's going to do is it's going to write that stream directly to disk in whatever format it's already in. So I'm going to go to one of my network encoders. I'm going to hit actions. I'm going to record my file name, this great stream. And then I'm going to use the I'm going to use the same encoder. I'm going to hit take, and it's going to start writing that to disk right away. And now we can see that that stream is writing disk, and it's writing a TS file. Okay, so just so you know, just so I prove myself that it's actually happening, over here on my screen here, you can now see the live stream. This is a live stream source from the Makito X encoder, and it's got our live graphics on it that we just updated. You can see the logo here in the left-hand corner. This is our live graphic, and over here you can also see our live bug on the right-hand corner. So that is the RTP stream encode feature. There's a couple of options that I wanna mention really quickly. You can technically you can encode as many streams as you want. The systems have been tested to encode the same number of network streams as you have inputs and outputs. Also note that live pass-through requires that you have an open encoder and an open decoder. So you need an encoder to work with a decoder in order to do pass-through, and Autopilot will choose which one to use depending on what's going on the channel. But for instance, let's say you have 4 channels and you want to do live pass-through on all 4 channels. In order to do that, you would need 4 encoders and 4 decoders to do live pass-through on all 4 channels at the same time. Most likely you're not going to be doing live pass-through on all channels at the same time, but this is a consideration if you ever do plan to do live pass-through or live shows on all four channels at the same time. I think that's the only real caveat that I had. You can write as many stream sources as you want to disk, and it will take in as many over the network as you can. The only caveats to doing network streaming is really that your network is as open as possible to the stream source. So really you're talking about, in most cases, unicast RTP streams, or if you're in a larger wide area network, you might also be able to do multicast streams, which have also been tested. I'm assuming that there's going to be a ton of questions based on what I just went over, but those are the three new features that we're excited to show you. The revamped force matrix with the new icons and new controls, and the live pass-through, which I've shown on the stream there, as well as RTP streaming, which allows you to bring in RTP sources over the network directly into your Flex series server without any additional hardware other than the encoder.
Thank you so much, Nick, for your great presentation. Thank you all for joining us, and we look forward to sharing more exciting new features in the future. Thanks, everyone.